Welcome to Naval Action, ladies and gentlemen, and today I am joined by one of my colleagues from my clan. We are sailing Trincomalees. This colleague is Mithric, and we are playing 2 Trincomalees against 2 Indefatigables. So stick around, this is gonna be very fun. So, we have 2 Trincomalees, which are decent and very beefy 5th rates, and we have 2 Indefatigables, which are insane, which they were first 5th rates, but they are actually have been promoted to the 4th rates. So we are slightly outgunned, but then again experience and everything is on our side because we're playing AI and we are gonna beat the crap out of them, or at least that's the plan. So, by the way, as you might have seen, I have joined Lure, which is a British clan which we operate out of Santiago de Cuba, and if you're interested to join us, feel free to do so. Contact me or anybody else and we'll see if we can get you in. Anyway, we are getting into the fight with Matthew Chevalier and Rico something. So 2 Indefatigables. My plan is basically rake the one to the oblivion and then focus on the other, and we will as always be focusing on only one side or only one broadside to bring them down, because we are fighting a superior enemy. So that's my tactics when playing AI, and I think it works nice, so no need to change it right now. If I was fighting player, then I would have to adapt. Okay, getting ready for the broadside, putting it low and fire. $25, all of them hit. 1 to the cannon and 5 to the crew. That's decent enough, and I'm turning hard to starboard. All of a sudden I have this other ship at my side, so I'm gonna depower the sails and prepare to fire a broadside, which is gonna happen right about now. I have also some 17 guns hitting the mark, which is kind of nice. Matthew has gotten his rudder pierced, and Mithric will probably be joining me in also taking the bananas out of Ricardo Corneas. Now, my initial plan was to go after Matthew because I've heard him better, how to say, or worse, I don't know how would you call it correctly. But Ricardo is also here, so I'm turning here and I will be facing 1 versus 2, so I might have to adapt my strategy to do so. So that's something that we need to keep in mind. That being said, Ricardo Corneas is actually going to with me broadside to broadside. That's an opportunity I don't miss lightly, and his port side is already hit, so that's something to consider. Let's just put a couple of hits to Matthew Chevalier, and if he continues sailing straight, no, he's going hard to starboard, which means he's gonna go broadside to broadside. Okay, I have to take care of the heel. I'm depowering sails and turning the sails perpendicular to the wind, and now I'm just waiting until it lowers my broadside, and I'm gonna put convergence to 100 meters and then hit the crap out of this guy. Oh yeah, that hurt. Now I'm gonna turn hard to starboard, and I'm hopefully will be able to fire my port side cannons also. If they're gonna hit, I don't know, but I can give them a good shellacking. Let's see if that works. There we go. Whatever I get in, I'll be happy. Fire! I know this is a bad angle, but even like if 3-4 penetrate, I'll be happy. 6. That's good enough in my book. Now I know I missed an opportunity with Matthew Chevalier, but I would be hitting his port side, which is not my target at the moment. But I hit Ricardo Corneas' port side, which is. So you have to pay attention to what is your target and use the opportunities, and you really have to focus on it, otherwise you're gonna miss it. So that's when I noticed where Mithric was, and then I told him to focus Ricardo Corneas' port side. So continue pressing where it hurts, while all of a sudden I would be chasing Matthew or Ricardo, whichever one comes first. But seems that right now, oh, this is a screenshot for the episode. Beautiful. Fantastic. Right. That being said, let's press onwards. I don't like backing out of a fight, and neither should you. And this Matthew is actually getting me slightly concerned. He'll probably fire at me, yes, but I'm actually, you know, bowing my bow in, which is a little bit dangerous tactic if you don't know what you're doing. And he is firing one cannon at a time, but he's turning, so he might be presenting me with his starboard side, which would be my target. Oh shoot, he hit my pump. I'll fix it. So the question is now, Matthew or Ricardo? I think I'm gonna go for Ricardo. Okay, then let's turn my stern so I present a very shallow angle to the Matthew and focus on Ricardo instead. Ricardo is going backwards, and I don't know which way he will turn. He will probably turn to try and face away from me, so that would not be a favorable angle. However, I'm gonna get so close that the angle shouldn't matter. Convergence parallel, aim low, fire. Oh, I'm chewing him right up. 24 to the hull, look what we did. Joint effort to his port side. Like I said, Mithric, as you can see, I'm not micromanaging him. I gave him general directions and he knew what to do. He is a good guy. Perfect. Let's now turn hard to starboard and see if we can give Mithric another broadside. I'm waiting until my cannons reload, and this might actually be even more devastating because it's broadside to broadside, so I'm gonna keep it at 100 meters. Aiming low at his hull. It would be nice if she healed a little bit, but she won't. Fire! Yes, take them all in. Wonderful. Okay, when you're going broadside to broadside, this convergence of 100 meters is actually good. Here I did actually quite a big mistake. I didn't slow down fast enough, and that means that I actually ran this guy and my bowsprit chopped off. Well, yeah, that was on me. And if I had not fixed the error and started to turn very hard on the starboard, I would have stopped and slowed my speed significantly, which could have resulted in this Indefatigable boarding me, which was definitely not something that I had in mind. Instead, I chose rather hard to starboard and then fire another broadside and see what sticks, which actually put a very serious dent into his rudder and his pump. And as you can see, Mithric is coming right behind me, so... And now Matthew is a little bit chewed up, but the aim is his starboard side still, but we should probably still finish up Ricardo. But now Matthew is presenting himself. I think I'm gonna sail right behind him and then turn hard to starboard, and then, oh, and he's going reverse. Don't you go reverse on me, son. Matthew, come on. I might as well fire from this point blank range. It might be worth it. Fire. There we go. We once again locked into a clinch. Not my preferred tactics of choice, but then again, and it's definitely not smart if you're facing a stronger opponent, because then he can unload a full and utter broadside into you, which means that you are pretty much a goner. However, I felt I had enough broadside armor to be able to withstand that. Now, Ricardo is once again coming at me with his portside cannons, and I'm facing 1 versus 2, which means I cannot last this for very long. What I should be doing, I cannot turn into the wind, so I decided instead I'm going to turn hard to starboard and put Ricardo in the position where he cannot fire, because Matthew will be on his way. So, and then I told Mithric, now all gang up on Ricardo's port side and finish this engagement, send him to Davy Jones's locker. I'm turning my starboard side because I'm still facing two enemies and my port side armor is gone, well, almost, which means I have to be presenting my other side if I want to survive this amount of shellacking. Fortunately enough, Mithric was keeping very close to me, so he was able to take some of the blunt of the battle. Otherwise I would have been in very, very serious trouble. Okay, Ricardo, let's dance. Alright, so let's see if we can give Ricardo the broadside that he well deserves. Everything seems favorable, convergence is at 100 meters. Taking care of the heel, I just want to turn slightly and then take care of the heel, come on. Fix the sails, depower, and fire. That should for the most part take care of Ricardo Corneas, and then we should be focusing our attention on Matthew. However, I'm not sure that this guy is gonna sink, sadly. I did write to my teammate that Ricardo is a goner, saying that he doesn't need to be working him, but I decided to endure one more broadside, and just so I can finish him off. At this point I would be expecting that Ricardo starts sinking due to the structural damage. However, this little structure, I don't know if he is gonna pop up repair and try to weasel his way out of it, so I figured I want to seal his fate with one last parting broadside, which is happening right about now. Now, that being said, now it's time to give some special loving to the Matthew. Bye Ricardo, and give my regards to the Davy Jones. Well, I don't have to be, in retrospect, I don't have too much to gloat about because my structure isn't exactly shiny, so I have to figure out a way how to help Mithric to take care of Matthew in a good way without getting sunk myself. So actually when I was choosing the Admiralty mission, I was choosing between if I'm gonna fight 4 5th rates or 2 4th rates. I thought this would be more fun to watch, so let me know in the comments below what you think. I'll probably do the other one also. So let's take care of this. Oh, Mithric, did you forget your stove on? Because you are smoking, buddy. Hope it's nothing serious. That's why I told him, careful on the barbecue, man. So, we have now... Oh, I have plenty of time until the repairs come in. Oh, look at that. He has already received some very, very nice broadsides. Then I decided to give the lead to Mithric because he was ahead of me. We'll see how all that will work. I mean... He's a great captain, but we have to still make him an admiral, right? So... I must say it's actually quite fun to play in the fleet again. I'm mostly lone wolfing everything, but I guess you guys already got tired of watching these kind of fights, so I figured if I was playing in a clan, that might be actually more fun, because then it would be also some bigger battles, hopefully. And I hope that will come eventually, so let's see how that will go. Right, so I decided, okay, so he's turning around, coming about for a starboard, presenting starboard side, which is actually the weak side, and I'm facing him with my starboard side, which is actually my strong side. So I notified Mithric that I won't be following in his lead because of the battle line, and I'm gonna choose the line abreast rather, and I'm gonna close in on this Indy, and I will probably unload from point blank range, because from this range I can do absolutely nothing, probably not even chip his paint. So there we go, going for an intercept course, and he seems to be wanting to turn. I'm into the wind, I'm actually downwind, and was thinking of turning into the wind. Yeah, he is thinking about turning towards me. Alright, hard to port. And he will actually succeed in turning towards me, which means that I will have to do a little bit of wiggling around. No matter, I'm still determined as ever to put a dent in his starboard side. Might not be the best broadside that I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna make damn sure that he feels it. Okay, and getting ready to put hard to starboard. Good thing is that in the whole story is that he's actually fired his cannons, which means they won't be reloaded for some time. And let's do the convergence to 100 meters, drop the cannons and fire. Okay, that almost meant an end of Mr. Matthew, and however, his rudder is gone, his pump is severely damaged, he should be taking on water, so by this time, so I think that I need to be now very careful. If I'm gonna turn hard to port, I will be presenting my very weak side to him. If I go to starboard, then I'll need to go against the wind. Okay, Mithric is going that way, and he will be turning towards us, so I think I'm gonna go with the right full rudder, just form after Mithric. I'm actually second guessing that decision. He's firing at him, so he might do some damage. And he's trying to fire at me. Okay, now he fired his broadside, which means that gives me some time to actually pull out my maneuver, which is gonna be the Crazy Ivan, obviously. So I'm actually putting hard on the handbrake and full left rudder, and I'm hopeful that he won't be able to fire until I'm presenting my bow to him, actually. So let's see if that will hold. However, I'm also a little bit concerned, because that means that I will be going against the wind. Well, not exactly, but I would be severely tacking, so I might get myself into a very unfavorable position. However, given his status on his starboard side, that's a minimum risk I'm willing to take. He's beginning to fire, but I'm already presenting shallower angle, and as you can see by my damage meters, I'm not receiving too much damage, which is good. Okay, now let's cut it into the wind and see if I can at least fire a couple of shots into him. Those are too far out. And as soon as I come close enough, I'm gonna unload everything I have, and hopefully that will spend the end of the Matthew Chevalier. It's funny, it's Matthew Chevalier, but he's a pirate. I would be expecting him to be French. Oh, never mind. You can't fight frogs every time. Now. Okay, I'm coming in closer. Now I'm thinking when he fires all of his cannons. Right. Hard to starboard, and from this distance I'm not expecting a miracle, but a decent broadside might take care of that rest of the armor. So depowering sails, lowering the cannons, and a little bit lower, and fire. Still not done. Well, what can I say? A captain's work is never finished, so I figured I might as well do a hard to starboard and hopefully fire a starboard broadside into him and maybe bring this all towards timely end, but I see that Mithric is also getting ready to finish him up, but he sank before that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to my favorite part, where I say, well, we had a nice one. Hope you like the episode. If you do like the episode, do fling a like at it. Hit subscribe, do connect with me on all social media, and I guess I will be seeing you guys in the next video. But until then, thank you very much for watching. This is GrunfWorks and Mithric, signing off.